It's July 29th, 2012. Last week I got the engine out, and so today I've had a little time to work on the body, or chassis rather. Pushed the 4Runner out on the driveway today and washed it and degreased the engine bay. It's still dirty, but it's a lot better than what it was. So it's a little easier to work on now. I've got the VW diesel here. A couple nights last week I worked on test fitting it in the engine bay, and it's a little tight. There's plenty of width, plenty of room width wise, but the engine's a little tall. So it looks like it's either modify the oil pan or do a body lift and raise the transmission by an inch or so, maybe inch and a half. So I'm going to go for the body lift option. I want to run bigger tires anyway, so a slight body lift should get the engine in and might give me enough clearance for tires without doing a suspension lift. We'll just see how that goes later. So tonight's project is removing the carpet. Not much to see yet, just started taking the seats out. And this carpet's pretty dirty. I tried cleaning it out, it vacuumed up okay, but it's still pretty nasty, so I'm just going to pull it out and put some sort of do-it-yourself brush in or spray on, roll on bed liner in here. I think that'll be better for what I want to use this vehicle for anyway. And it'll be easier to blow out all the dog hair too. Alright, got the front seats, center console, and the shifter bezel, and the bottoms of the rear seats out. And it's pretty nasty. So now you see why I think it's best just to rhino line it. Got the body lift on. Obviously don't have the front bumper on. The kit came with brackets for the front bumper, but I probably won't mess with that until later after I get the engine in. It'll just be easier to work without that on the front. I got the lift kit from 4-Wheel Parts. It's a 2-inch body lift. I don't even remember the brand. Pretty basic, just some blocks, longer bolts, and nuts, etc. Went in pretty easy. So the whole purpose of the body lift was to allow me to lift the drivetrain up about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. The factory Volkswagen diesel oil pan was hitting the differential. If it was a steel pan, I would just notch it out and weld in a little step and move on. But it's an aluminum, cast aluminum pan, and just usually not very successful in modifying cast aluminum. It's just not enjoyable to work with. So we'll do it a different way. So that's why I lifted the body. I also want to run some larger tires at some point, so kind of already on the way to making that work. So now you can see there's a pretty large gap above the transmission and the tunnel, which is good because we need to lift the transmission. Made a spacer for the rear transmission mount out of 2-inch box tube. And so we'll see how that works. Tonight I got rid of the rear heater core that was right there. The diesel doesn't make enough heat to need a radiator and 2 heater cores. A lot of cold mornings, it takes it forever to get enough to get heat into the cabin. So we're just not going to have that rear heater core. I removed the engine control module and the engine wiring harness. I had to remove the glove box to get to it. It just made it easier. I may not have had to, but it made it a lot easier. So the ECM was right over here. The harness went up through here. Got these two plugs left that were connected to the engine harness, so I'm not real sure yet what those are. I think it has to do with AC controls or HVAC controls, but I'm not sure. So back under the engine bay, engine wiring harness came out right through here, big grommet. Obviously a big harness came across here and went everywhere. So that's finally gone and out of the way. Really helped clean things up. I removed a couple extra heater hose items that I'm not going to be using, and these are the two fuel hoses. They'll be removed, and I'm going to run new lines for the diesel engine. Here's some of what I removed tonight. AC components, condenser, accumulator, some lines, an extra heat shield that I don't need anymore. There's the old ghetto amplifier the previous owner put in. And there's the rear heater core and the ECM. Over here is the engine wiring harness. Already started taking it apart so that I can start tracing wires to see where those other plugs go to. Been working with this manual. This is the Haynes manual. I knew they weren't the best when I bought it, but I was hoping it'd have enough information. But it really is just about one step above useless. It tells you in the diagram that there's a certain component, but then there's nowhere in the book that tells you where the component is. What I'm looking for now is an HVAC module. The diagram shows it and shows the harness going to and from it, but the book doesn't say anything about where it is physically located in the vehicle. I guess I've just gotten used to Volkswagen's Elsa Webb and then ALLDATA and Mitchell when I was an ASE tech, and I guess I just got used to being able to get some information to work with. Also, this manual doesn't tell you how to do much of anything electrical. It's all mechanical, old school mechanical. So if you want to learn how to slap some pads on your car without turning the rotors, or just change the oil or something basic like that, put a drive shaft for U-joint in, this isn't bad. But if you want to learn how something works and some more detailed, useful information, this isn't it. I probably will end up subscribing for 1 month to ALLDATA or something like that, just so I can get what I need. And that's about it for tonight. I'm going to call it a day.